Hey lovelies, welcome back to my channel and to another video. So for this set today I'm using, as always, Teen Gorgeous Clear Candy. I've also got Peach Melba and Whipped Cream, which are core colours, and then I've got Mardy Bum, which is this fabulous black. I'm using these Chanel decals from Queen of Decals, and I've got these gorgeous little Chanel glitter pieces from World of Glitter. So I'm hoping from that you can guess the theme of these nails. So I'm starting off with that gorgeous Peach Melba. This is one of my absolute favourite cover powders at the moment. I've been using it loads, and I'm just doing a reverse smile line on this nail. Now I wasn't so happy with the way I was working on this one. I think it's been hot, I've been grotty and miserable at times, and I ended up doing a lot more faffing than I would have liked to have done on this, because I just couldn't get it right. So I am making this smile line look a little bit harder than it needs to be. But anyway, I put the first bead down and now I'm just shaping the smile line as much as I can. So I've got minimal filing to do, making sure I've got a nice wall to back the next colour up to, and now I'm just going in with the second bead, which I am blending down over top of that. Trying to make sure I've got all the strength and structure in place, but if it wasn't perfect I can go in with another bead just to build it all up. But I think generally that second bead made it all look a little bit better. I think I just went in with a touch more just to even that out there. And then once I've faffed enough and I'm happy with it, I'm going to leave that to set. And I'm moving on to the next nail, and I have got Mardy Bum here, which is a lovely black. I really like this black because it's so pigmented. But the problem with this black is it is so pigmented. It can be a little bit finicky to play with because it stains. But what I'm effectively trying to do on this nail is a stripe of black down the middle. So I am at present just trying to neaten up the two sidelines of this stripe. As I said, this is where it gets a little bit fun because this black is so pigmented. All I can say for something like this is just do the best you can. That is all. I'm keeping it as thin as I possibly can because I'm going to add something on top of the black, and it will require capping. I'm just making sure it's all neat around the cuticle, and I will go in with my file so I can tidy it up. But once I was happy-ish with that line, I'm just going in with a very small wet bead of clear. This is going to work as glue. And then I'm using those glitter shapes from World of Glitter, and I'm just placing them down that stripe. Not quite to the very tip because it didn't fit right to the very tip, and I didn't want to sort of cut them off because I thought that would look rubbish. So I'm just placing them onto that wet clear acrylic, pressing it down. You could have done that on the wet black, but I was a bit worried that I'd end up with black acrylic on my glitter shape, so that's why I went in with the clear. Just pressing them down so they're nice and flat and stuck, and then look at that hollow. And then I'm just going to leave those to set in place while I move on. So moving on, I'm going to be putting decals on the pinky and the index finger, so I'm using my whipped cream and just using this as a base. Super simple, just a nice thin base, but making sure it's fully covered, it's an even colour, don't want no patchiness, not getting any little bits of hair or dirt in there, and that is basically what I'm doing. So I'm going to finish off this one, just keeping it nice and neat. It was a bit patchy there, I can even see that on camera. And then I'll do exactly the same on this one. So place my wet bead at the acrylic, place my wet bead at the cuticle, neaten it around there, and then start pulling it down the nail. Just pulling it down, fading it out, keeping it nice and neat at the sides, and then going in with another bead to fill in where it's slightly patchy. And I'm working pretty wet with this, but you can get away with it because it's such a pigmented white, and by working wet I can just paint it on and not add loads of thickness to the nail. So just going to finish this one off. And now I'm going to come back to my little stripe here, and I am just capping it. And I'm using this to build up the two side lines so that I can then file them and put the next colour up to them. And I'm also making sure I have got as much, I've got all my apex and structure in place down that line. And then I will leave that to set. So just adding a touch more. There we go. And oh my goodness, someone's just emptied a load of cans and bottles outside. Making sure that apex is in, making sure all of those glitter pieces are fully encapsulated, and then I'll let that dry. Now moving on to my decals. So I'm going in with a nice thin wet bead of clear. I use this as sort of glue, and then I'm going to slide the decal off the backing paper and then place it on the nail, and then I'm just going to pat it down. Now this one was great because I was able to very carefully stretch it slightly so that it fitted the nail perfectly. So this is what I'm doing. I am just patting it down, I'm sort of stretching it out so that it fits from sidewall to sidewall, cuticle to tip, and then I'm going to do the same with the other nail, making sure that they're nicely pressed down, no lumps, bumps, wrinkles or anything like that. So sliding it off, placing it on. I wasn't too worried if there was a bit of a gap at the cuticle on this one because I already knew I was going to add some crystals, so I was thinking ahead. But yeah, as you see, I'm just sort of patting it and very gently stretching it because you don't want to rip it, but if you gently stretch it you can get that fit really nice. And then I'm going to cap those two nails. Once I'd capped those, I did file in that smile line. I used my Team Gorgeous file, and now I'm just going in and painting on that black at the tip. And that is literally it. I am painting it on. Smallest bead, it's pretty wet, and I'm just painting it on. Going right up into those wings, getting it right up to that smile line, and that is all I needed to do with that. But I am going to place one of those little Chanel glitter pieces just on the tip, just there. I've put that on the wet black acrylic, but very gently, just patting it down. And then I'll just let that dry into place. Back to my stripy nail, and I did file the two lines as well so that they were nice and straight and sharp and crisp and leathery. And now I'm going in with whipped cream and I'm filling in the two sides. I'm not going to cap these, so I am building the shape, the structure, everything I want with this white. Doesn't matter if you go over top of the line because it'll all get filed away. So it does, by the end of adding all the white, look a little bit of a mess. But, you know, I'm able to file it and make it less of a mess. So once I have finished this, I am going to cap my free edge of my smile line nail. I am going to file them all off camera, and then we'll be back to decorate. Okay, so the nails are all filed into shape and refined. I gave them a quick dust off and now I'm just going over with a lint-free wipe and some cleanser to get rid of those pesky dusty particles. And now, using my Team Gorgeous Hold Fast glue and my crystal Katana from Crystal Parade, I am going to add some bling, because nails are never complete without a little bit of bling. Certainly not in my book anyway. So starting on this nail, I'm doing a little bit of a crystal tiara using a selection of black and gold crystals from Crystal Parade. I get all of my crystals from Crystal Parade and I do have a discount code. It is Helen5 and you can get 5% off. Check the description box for that and any other discount codes I have. So I'm just little blobs of glue sticking in, alternating between gold and black crystals. And then I'm going to do similar on this. Oh, that was a blue crystal, not a black crystal. I remember that much. So I'm going to take that off and start again trying to find a black crystal. So I'm going to do exactly the same. I'm going to start by creating sort of a crystal tiara, and then I'm going to bring it down to a bit of a triangle-y type shape. Again, alternating black and gold crystals, and I've got a couple of different shades of gold. Now I'm using my glue today and not my crystal gel stuff that I have been using in a lot of my videos, because I was just using little round crystals. I wasn't using any big shapes. I actually prefer using the gel because some of them I didn't like where they were placed. They needed like moving ever so slightly, but they were stuck. So lesson learned, stick to the gel. But never mind, you know, made do. And I had no end of nightmare. This was a traumatic experience, these crystals, because in the process of trying to open one of the little compartments of my case, I managed to open 3 or 4 compartments, drop it, and crystals went everywhere. And that was very traumatic for me. I did manage to pick them all up, or most of them up, but there are some sort of crystals floating around on my floor that I couldn't get to. So yeah, very traumatic experience. I'm not sure how I survived it, but never mind, I did. What is taking so long there is trying to find the right shape and colour crystal that I wanted. Normally I'd sort of tip them out onto a triangle tray and it's easier to see, but I obviously hadn't. So I learnt the hard way to make sure I did that in future. So I'm just finishing off placing these crystals. I was getting very stroppy with myself, I think, because I had all these crystals on the floor and I was thinking, oh, how am I going to pick them up? But I'm just finishing this off and then I will just leave those for the glue to dry before top coating, and I'm going to move on, and I'm using my fast foil and this Mayfair foil from World of Glitter, and I'm going to add 2 gold stripes either side of my sort of black and Chanel stripe here. So I'm using a striping brush. I've just dipped that into the fast foil and I'm just creating a nice thin, whatever size line I ended up with. Now I was actually going to do these lines with gold striping tape, but after my traumatic experience with the crystals, I had an even more traumatic experience with the striping tape. A lot of swearing, a lot of getting annoyed, and I gave up and I thought, nope, right, give up, I'm going to use foil. So once I was happy with those 2 lines, cured it for 30 seconds, and then while it just cooled slightly, I wiped the back of the foil with some cleanser, and then I'm just pressing it down over those 2 lines of foil glue to apply the foil. And now I'm going to top coat, and I love top coating. Even if there's not much glitter in a set, I love top coating because the whole thing just comes to life. But look at this foil and those, look at those Chanel shapes come to life. It's such a classy set, this one. It didn't need loads of glitter and everything. I absolutely loved it. Once I have top coated all of these, I'm going to pop them in my LED lamp to cure for 60 seconds. And then these are my Chanel nails finished. As always, if you are working on a real person, let that top coat cool and then go in with your cuticle oil You know what I'm going to say? I recommend Make Nails, and this one was Lola Cola. And that is this set complete. So I really do hope you have enjoyed this video. As always, I will pop all the links, products used in the description box, along with discount codes. So make sure you check that out. And if you would like, leave me any comments. Please give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to click subscribe, and I'll be back again very, very soon. Bye! Mwah!